Live from Cobble Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in to 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I am Carter Longi. I'm going to be taking you through a quick little state basketball recap here to finish out our night. For those of you who do not know, the Ticket has been broadcasting lots of the state basketball games. Every game that happens in PBA, I believe the Ticket's on it. So make sure you tune in throughout the state basketball tournament. I know definitely Monday through Thursday we have every single game at PBA, and I think we have all the championship games except for maybe D1 and D2. So make sure you tune in every day for every single session. Nick and DP are going to be on the call for all the games, and it's going to be an exciting tournament. State basketball is it's an exciting time of the year. So what I'm going to do here before we wrap things up for the night here at the Ticket is I'm going to take you through the quarterfinals that happened today and get you ready for the coming days of the tournament. So today we had the Class B boys, Class A girls, Class C1 girls, Class D2 girls, Class C2 boys, and Class D1 boys, and D2 girls. I don't know if I said them yet. And then the ones that we had on the Ticket today were B boys and A girls, because those ones were happening at PBA. Tomorrow, PBA at PBA, and on the Ticket will be B girls, A boys, and then not on the Ticket, but still also happening tomorrow is going to be C1 boys, B girls, or I already said that, D2 boys, C2 girls, D1 girls, and D2 boys. So, make sure you keep tuning in to Ticket for all these games. So let's just get right into today's games and run through them real quick here. So I'm going to kind of jump all over the place here because we kind of just wrote down scores as we went throughout the day. So we didn't really get time to sort these real nicely. The semifinals will be a little bit more uniform when I announce those matchups. But as for going through scores, it might be a little all over the place. I'll try and sort it out here on the fly, but can't promise anything. So I'll start with boys. D1, number 1 St. Patrick taking on number 8 Lord Central. St. Patrick ended up winning that one 54-49, maybe a little closer than they would have liked as the 1 seed in the tournament, but nevertheless they got it done. Moving on here, the number 2 seed was the Dundee County Stratton. They were taking on Meade. They won 48-44 in another D1 matchup. Moving again here through D1 boys. Number 3 Loomis was taking on number 6 Riverside. Loomis won there 55-34. And finally, last matchup of D1 boys, the only upset in the quarterfinals for D1 boys was number 4 Elgin Pope John taking on Burwell, the number 5 seed. And Burwell actually ended up winning, again, the only upset in D1 boys, 65-58. Moving on here, C2 now for the boys. Again, I'll try and kind of sort these out as I go. See where the number 1 seed is on here. Freeman was the number 1 seed. Big upset. They lost Amherst by 10. Amherst was the 8 seed, and they defeated Freeman 53-43. So that was, I believe that was the biggest upset of the day. I mean, that's the biggest upset you can get. I don't know. I don't know a ton about Nebraska high school basketball. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't grow up here, and I haven't really paid too much attention during the season. But I'd assume that a 1-8 upset is still probably a pretty big deal. I mean, I would have to guess that Freeman was favored by a bit in that game. Moving on here in C2, Cedar Catholic was the 2 seed. They were taking on Norfolk Catholic, and Norfolk also got a big upset. The 7 beat the 2 52-41. So the top 2 seeds in C2 boys are already out. Moving on here, the 3 seed, they held true to their ranking. Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family defeated Howells Dodge 55-52. So they moved on as an upper seed. And finally, again, this one was not an upset, but 4 Grand Island Central Catholic, they ended up knocking off Donovan Trumbull 51-37. So we saw the 3 and the 4 seeds get their job done as the chalk favorites. But again, we saw 1 and 2 fall in the C2 boys. Moving on here, finally wrapping up with the boys for the day, we had the Class B boys playing their quarterfinals. Scott Catholic was the number 1 seed coming into today. They took care of Blair quite easily. 62-36 was the score of that one. Moving on in boys here, Roncalli was taking on Waverly 2-7. Roncalli the 2. They won 64-58. They'll move on. Then we move to the 3-6 matchup. That's Scotts Bluff and Beatrice. Beatrice actually pulls off the upset, 38-35. So they will move on there in B. That was the only upset of the B bracket. As we move on to the 4-5 matchup, as Platteview downed Bennington 60-44. And that was all we had in the boys bracket. Moving on to girls now. We'll start with Class D2 and kind of work our way up to the top here. Let's see if I can find the 1 seed again here. It's a little messy, but here we go. Sacred Heart was the 1 seed. They're taking on number 8. Why not? Again, that one was handled pretty easily, 46-29. Moving on to the 2 seed in D2, that was Humphrey St. Francis, and they take care of Diller Odell, 58-44. Moving to the 3-seed 3-6 matchup, St. Mary's was taking on Crawford, and St. Mary's going to win in a very low-scoring affair, 36-18. I guess I probably should mention this as well. Getting all my scores from Max Press, that's what the NSAA has been using. I assume that they're all official. They seem to have been accurate so far all today. So if anything's inaccurate, I apologize, but I'm just going off of what I was given here. And finally, the 4-5 matchup in D2. We had Anselmo Myrna taking on Sterling. Sterling was the 5. They got the upset there. I know 4-5 is pretty usually, that's not really a big upset, but technically it's upset, and they actually won by quite a bit here, 50-33. As long as this handwriting is correct, I guess. That one actually could be a 30. I'm gonna fact check that one. But I believe it was a 50-33 win for Sterling. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me on this text line 402-999-4620 or in the comments on the live stream. Going on here, moving into C1 for girls. Number 1 was Lincoln Lutheran. They were taking on Bancroft Rasuli. Lincoln Lutheran would win 33-32 in the pretty tight contest for the 1 seed there. Moving on, North Bend was taking on Malcolm in a 2v7 matchup. North Bend would take care of business, winning 44-35. Moving on again here to the 3-6 matchup in C1, if I can find it on the sheet here. Grand Island Central Catholic defeated St. Paul 40-31. And then finally in the 4-5 matchup, Gothenburg gets the upset 45-43. And that will finish up C1 for girls. And then finally, we'll move into our A girls, which I believe every single game in the A girls bracket, I am correct. Yes, every single game in the A girls for today was broadcast right here on the ticket, along with 2 B boys games to start the day off. But sessions 2 and 3 were all at PBA for Class A girls, and the ticket got all of them. And let's run through them. So starting off with the 1 versus 8, Millard South was taking on Bellevue West. Millard South took care of business relatively easily. The final score was 62-45. Number 2 seed was Fremont. They're taking on number 7 Lincoln Pius the 10th. They also took care of business relatively easy, 57-41. The 3 seed was Lincoln High. The 6 seed was Bellevue East, and Lincoln High took care of business, winning 52-41. And finally, the 4-5 matchup, only upset in Class A girls today. Lincoln Southwest defeated Omaha Central 54-38. So we didn't see a whole lot of close games here in A girls today. I believe Lincoln High and Bellevue East, if I remember correctly, or was it? Getting my memory confused here. It was either the Fremont Lincoln Pius the 10th game or the Lincoln High Bellevue East game. I can't remember. One of those was tied, I believe, pretty close towards the end of the game, and one team went on a run and ended up winning it. I'm really kicking myself that I can't remember which one it was. But either way, it doesn't really matter because Lincoln High and Fremont both ended up pulling out the wins, and that's, I guess, what counts. Tomorrow on the ticket, we have the first game of the day will be Elkhorn North taking on Waverly in a 1v8 matchup in B girls, and then continuing with B girls here, 4 Norris will take on 5 York. Then the second session will start out with Millard North, the 1 seed in A boys taking on the 8 seed in Elkhorn South. These are all going to be A boys matchups in the last 2 sessions tomorrow. Number 4 Gretna will face number 5 Omaha Central. Number 2 Bellevue West will face number 7 Lincoln Pius the 10th, and number 3 Westside will face number 5 Creighton Prep in the nightcap. I believe I also have the semifinal matchups here somewhere for today's quarterfinals finishing up. So looking at the teams that played in the quarterfinals today, we know their semifinal matchups, which will be taking place on Wednesday. So in the boys bracket, in the B bracket, we'll have Scott Catholic, the number 1 seed, taking on number 4 Platteview. Number 2 Roncalli will take on number 6 Beatrice. Moving on to C2, number 4 Grand Island Central Catholic will take on number 8 Amherst. Number 2 Norfolk Catholic will take on number 3 Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family. D1, number 1 seed St. Patrick will take on number 5 Burwell. Number 2 Dundee County Stratton will take on number 3 Loomis. Moving over to girls in the A, bracket here. We got number 1, Millard South, taking number 5, Lincoln Southwest. Number 2, Fremont, taking number 3, Lincoln High. C1 now. The number 1 seed, Lincoln Lutheran, will face number 5, Gothenburg. Number 2, North Bend Central will face Grand Island Central Catholic, the 3 seed. And finally, D2, number 1, Sacred Heart will face number 5, Sterling, and number 2, Humphrey St. Francis will take on St. Mary's. So, with that, I appreciate you all kind of hanging out here for this quick little high school recap. Again, all those semifinal games will be taking place on Wednesday. Tomorrow on the ticket, again, we have Elkhorn North and Waverly, Norris and York and B Girls. And we have Millard North, Elkhorn South, Gretna, Omaha Central, Bellevue West, Lincoln Pies the 10th, and Westside, Creighton Prep, all A boys bracket games. The ticket's going to be covering all the state basketball games throughout as we go here. Everything that happens at PBA will be on here with the ticket. I believe the only games at PBA that we will not end up getting is the D1 and D2 boys and girls championships. But I believe we have 32 games total here, and we're going to be covering every single session Monday through Thursday, along with almost all the championship games. So stick around. Got a lot of high school basketball to play, and it should be a fun weekend. Thank you for hanging out with us at the ticket today, and I'll see you next time.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to Oak Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper.